Donald Trump has faced down humiliation after humiliation on the world stage lately. Not only did his fake ceasefire fall apart, his no new wars promise was broken, but Donald Trump is now being hit with one of the most devastating blows to a goal he has always had, and that is to win a Nobel Peace Prize. I know it sounds ridiculous to even suggest, but in Donald Trump's own fantasy land that he has created, he thinks it's possible. But he just got some bad news on it, not just from a Ukrainian official, but also from Iran as we continue to see breaking news come out. But before we can get into what has Donald Trump so heartbroken, we have to start with his stooge who kicked it all off, Katie Britt, the senator from Alabama, who said this on Fox.
Absolutely. Look, President Trump is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize, no doubt. You look at what he's done with the Congo and Rwanda. You look at where he is with Pakistan and India and what he's done there. And then you look at this, what everyone talked about, but no one thought was possible. He has brought peace to a region that needed stability. He has shown what America First policy actually is. He's made sure that he's preserving American lives at every single turn. Look, President Trump understands what we need. We need a president who is unafraid to act and that stands firmly with the American citizens. That's what we saw today. And look, Democrats don't know what to say. I mean, their silence has never been louder, if you know what I mean. And I think it's because President Trump just keeps winning and they don't know what to do.
So not only did Katie Britt say that Donald Trump should win a Nobel Peace Prize for his failed ceasefire with Iran and Israel, Donald Trump Jr. also wrote affirmative action is when Barack Obama gets the Nobel Peace Prize instead of Donald Trump. Now, I know the Trump family is not particularly well known for their brain size or any knowledge of history. Donald Trump is constantly misunderstanding, misquoting, just having his brain be all gobbledygook about world history. But what has he done in recent history that suggests he should be up for a Nobel Peace Prize? I don't know. Do we remember anything from the first term? He's been starting trade wars in the second. It's just idiocy. But of course, Donald Trump, after he claimed he had brokered a peace deal between Israel and Iran, which was not actually the case, decided, hey, maybe we get these talks going again, was pushing all his stooges to suggest that. Of course, they're kissing his ass. But we know that the ceasefire doesn't actually look real or strong or solidified in any real way. And the beginning, the real genesis for it was Donald Trump's strike on Iran, which was not only in contrast to his no new wars promise, but actually failed. So before we get into this news about his peace prize that isn't coming, I want to start with some breaking news about Iran's nuclear program. Iran trolls Trump by claiming its nuclear program is back up. Iran has declared that its nuclear program will resume without interruption, despite Donald Trump insisting that the regime's nuclear ambitions had been obliterated after bombing by the U.S. 2 days after America controversially joined Israel to attack Fordo and other Iranian nuclear infrastructure. Iran has openly defied Trump by insisting that it's ready to restart its enrichment plans. The nuclear program of Iran will resume without interruption, and we are ready to restart our enrichment program, which will not stop, stated the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, according to reports from state media. The announcement came amid ongoing questions about how much damage was done to the 3 Iranian plants and whether Iran was able to hide some of its stockpile before the U.S. bombings over the weekend. According to an initial U.S. intelligence assessment leaked to CNN, the strikes only set the program back by months and did not destroy core components of the program. The early analysis was produced by the Defense Intelligence Agency, the Pentagon's intelligence arm, but has been dismissed by the White House. Iran has had a civilian nuclear program for more than 50 years, but has long insisted it's not for military purposes, but it has enriched uranium to levels that have no peaceful application while obstructing international inspectors from checking its nuclear facilities. So, of course, we recently broke the news about the leaked Pentagon report detailing how the strike that Donald Trump claimed was this huge smashing success was anything but that. In fact, it just wasn't true. Donald Trump did not completely obliterate the target strikes. That's not the case. But now Iran is publicly trolling him. It is humiliation after humiliation, but it only got worse because the peacemaker, who is anything but that, just got his dreams of a peace prize stolen away from him by a top-ranking Ukrainian lawmaker, and I want to get into that right here. Donald Trump Nobel Peace Prize nomination withdrawn. A senior Ukrainian lawmaker who nominated Donald Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize has withdrawn it, as peace talks between Kyiv and Moscow slip under the radar and the president keeps his sights fixed on the Middle East. The head of Ukraine's Parliamentary Foreign Committee told Newsweek on Tuesday he had lost any sort of faith and belief in Trump and his ability to secure a ceasefire between Moscow and Kyiv. Merezko originally nominated Trump for the prize in November, but said he submitted his nomination withdrawal on Monday morning. Trump returned to the White House in January, pledging to end Europe's largest land conflict since World War II in just 24 hours. But as the weeks and months dragged on, optimism for a quick deal evaporated, and the Republican, a self-styled peacemaker-in-chief, which is just laughable, grew overtly frustrated with the glacial pace of progress. Ukraine agreed to a U.S. proposal back in March. Russia has to date not inked its consent. Ukrainian officials and international observers have watched Trump engineer a rapprochement with the Kremlin, the White House looking reluctant to impose sanctions on Russia, even as Trump publicly floated a feeling that Russia was tapping the American negotiations along. Trump is evading. He is dodging the need to impose sanctions now, Merezko said. Ukrainian officials are concerned about U.S. attention and weapons being diverted to the Middle East, not to mention the impact on the oil markets, Merezko said. Donald Trump has faced humiliation after humiliation this week because, of course, he has. He has broken all of his promises, and MAGA is furious. He pretends that he is some peacemaker. He is anything but that. He pretends just last week that he cares about the military with his ridiculous birthday parade. That blows up in his face. Donald Trump continues to reveal who he is and how little he knows every single day. And that was further emphasized by Congressman Greg Casar, who called out how Donald Trump, the man who claims that he cares about the military, even though we know what he really thinks, has been treating our veterans with cuts from DOJ. And I want to take a look right here.
Time has expired. I now recognize Mr. Casar from Texas for 5 minutes.
Good morning. Today, Republicans have called this DOJ hearing called Locking in the DOJ Cuts, Ending Waste, Fraud, and Abuse for Good. And I'm deeply concerned about the cuts that DOJ has made to services for our veterans. So I want to ask our pro-DOJ witnesses today some questions about those cuts. So, Mr. Lips, ProPublica reported that DOJ cuts have stalled life-saving clinical trials for our veterans with head and neck cancer, otherwise known as throat cancer. Can you tell me, are life-saving clinical trials for our veterans waste, or are they fraud, or are they abuse?
I think that's an area of government that is certainly vital, and that there's many things that can be done to improve VA services. I do not know all that DOJ has done for the VA, and I think that if there's anywhere where you could repurpose funds from these wastes that we're talking about, hundreds of billions of dollars misspent.
But if they cut the clinical trials that are helping our veterans with throat cancer, do you agree with those cuts?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Dickerson, leaked documents revealed that a VA hospital in rural Illinois was just forced to close its acute care unit to new patients due to the DOJ cuts. Can you tell me, is closing the doors of a VA acute care unit waste, or is it fraud, or is it abuse?
I don't know all the details about that particular instance, but I think that...
Would you say it's a big problem if DOJ cuts cause the closing of an acute care facility in a VA hospital?
Like I said, I think if funding that facility is a priority, we're running a $2 trillion annual
I think
deficit,
it is.
so
I think it is a priority.
So we can repurpose funds to something if it's a priority.
So you think that if it's not a priority, that it's waste?
I think that's for Congress and the administration to work together to determine.
Exactly. It's for Congress to work on, and the administration should not be calling our acute care veterans facilities waste and closing the doors of an acute care facility without Congress. And frankly, it is a priority, I believe, of the American people to care for our veterans. Mr. Burton, Trump recently eliminated the VA Services Purchasing Program, which just last year helped more than 33,000 veterans make sure that they don't get behind on their mortgage and they don't get thrown out of their home. Can you tell me, is this program that DOGE cut, is it waste, is it fraud, or is it abuse?
That's highly fact dependent, and I'm not that familiar with that program. I will tell you one
And
thing
I'll
about,
tell you, Mr. Burton,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with it. It helped 33,000 of our veterans not lose their homes. And in my view, our veterans are not waste, fraud, or abuse, nor are they a piggy bank for billionaires' tax cuts like Elon Musk.
I
And
doubt
so
anyone
This is
thinks
my
that.
time, Mr. Burton.
Yep. Fine.
I am deeply concerned that President Trump will take reckless action to risk sending more American troops into endless wars in the Middle East. But back at home, he's breaking the sacred promise to our veterans to care for them when and if they come back. Donald Trump has already tried to fire thousands of people at the VA, and recent reporting shows that there are plans to try to fire 80,000 people at the VA. These reckless DOGE cuts have thrown VA hospitals into chaos, and in my own district, I've gotten reports of veterans waiting months for basic services like a wheelchair. I represent San Antonio, Texas, Military City, USA, where we honor the service of our men and women in uniform. And if we want to honor our veterans, we honor it with more than just words. We take actions to care for them when they come home. We don't needlessly send people into harm's way, and we don't cut their services for when they come home. This hearing should not be holding hearings. This committee should not be holding hearings on locking in DOGE cuts. We should be holding hearings about restoring services for our veterans. And while DOGE is screwing over our veterans, the administration is also stealing from seniors. We just learned about a huge new scandal that every senior in America needs to hear about. After Trump and Musk made massive cuts to the staff at the Social Security Administration, they've scrubbed government websites of information about how long it takes to get your phone call answered. They have erased from the websites the delays that it takes to process benefit claims. They have wiped away what used to be publicly available about how long it takes to respond to a 1-800 call at the Social Security Administration. This is a cover-up. And why are they covering it up? Because wait times have exploded. A brave whistleblower just estimated that Trump's changes and Elon Musk's cuts have doubled the amount of time it takes to process a Social Security claim. Everybody needs to hear about it. Social Security is not Elon Musk's piggy bank. I yield back.
The gentleman.
It is disgraceful what Donald Trump and DOGE have done to our veterans. Donald Trump does not care about the people who serve our country. Fundamentally, it goes further than that, though. He looks down upon them because he is a person who wants praise for doing nothing, and they are people who don't need praise for serving us so bravely. And that infuriates Donald Trump, and that's why he tries to make the military about his strength. He knows how weak he is, but he only just reveals that he is a bully who cannot back it up. I am glad that Greg Kazar called that out, and we will continue to do so on this show. If you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments, and you can also subscribe to my new Substack. And until next time, I'll see you soon.